held it there.
Okay. Alright, today we're here with famous YouTuber chaseift. We're interviewing him about his brand new video, which is though their lemon yields otherworldly properties.
Close.
It's about a Russian food critic, Ivan Profilovkov.
That's
or
so
something.
true.
And he, as a matter of fact, actually, he was a person.
You can ask me what it's about and I'll describe it.
So what was the movie? What was this short film about?
So
/ thematic.
The famous Russian food critic Ivan Orlov Ivanov,
Yes.
fell in love with this one chef who kept opening restaurants, but this chef was slowly ruining his talent and grabbing at straws, until at one point he eventually, had no more talent, and in order to, try to seem still like all pretentious and cool and stuff, and still try to gloat about the fact that he has like all this talent for cooking and stuff like that, he created this fruit shop where they have like just giant fruits, and it's not that creative. It's just like, hey, think this but big, and that's the whole point. The whole point is that it's not supposed to be like, anybody could have thought of this. The thing is just he had the ability to execute it, and
Yes.
But then in a twist of events, Ivan Orlov Ivanov's infatuation with this man ends up being his downfall, because as he vouches for anything he does it's like he only cares about the ethos rather than, what he's actually producing and how good it actually is.
Yeah.
So, like, he would never be talking about this fruit shop if it weren't for whatever first restaurant that the chef opened. So then he finds out that there were some, the lemon was GMO, genetically modified, to have these, things in it to make it big, which ended up killing him, giving him dysentery. Well, they called it dysentery because they didn't know what to call it, but it's really just this illness that explodes and cuts through his system from the inside.
Yeah, and it makes him go poop.
Yeah. Like, there's a 5-pound pile of shit next to him. And it's not really about, the scientific, disease. It's not really about how reputable that is. It's more about the fact of, this idea that wasn't really so great to start with ended up, being his downfall because he's so, prolifically vouched for this man.
Yes, I do agree with that. I do agree with that interpretation, although that is the correct interpretation, because you are the video creator.
Yes.
So,
but the point of art is also that anybody has their own interpretation.
Yeah. I personally love the stop motion of the video.
Wow.
I believe it was very prolific.
Prolific just means large output. Yeah, Sabrina's is open. I found out what prolific meant the other day, actually. I thought it meant prophetic, but it actually just means a large output of something.
One last question for you today.
That wasn't actually the first time I did stop motion.
Anyways, one last question for you today, and that is, do you like this type of video style that you have done? Because I've seen in your recent videos that you have done these type of otherworldly type videos, you know what I mean? And I was wondering if you're transitioning into more of that type.
Well, I think there's a lot more artistic expression in what I'm making now. I wouldn't say everything is otherworldly. I think this video, this video doesn't even have anything to do with aliens or things like that. I've done aliens in the past, kind of. But everything I do has a place in reality. It's people describe the lemon as being otherworldly in the context of this universe because, it's not necessarily because it is so unworldly and so incredible because nobody's ever thought of it. It's because people are describing it in that way because of the person it came from. They're describing it like that. It's the same way Andy Warhol was. Andy Warhol is the perfect example of an artist that people love and respect and buy the works of and buy the ideas of because of such a great ethos behind him, right? And that's the whole point with pop art and things like that. It's necessarily every part of the art is hinged upon the name they made from themselves before that piece necessarily.
Yeah.
And that's not all Andy Warhol. I do like some of Andy Warhol's work apart from himself. But what I'm saying is a majority of it is because like nobody's watching 4 hours of the movie Empire when it's just a still shot of the Empire State Building until it goes to nighttime slowed down. Nobody's watching that for the entire duration of it.
Or Jack Rich would probably watch
Jack Rich would probably watch that. But they're not watching it for that. They're watching it because Andy Warhol made it, and then they're assuming it has meaning behind it. And that's the whole point
of the
lemon thing. Because this chef created a new thing that seemed really boring, and if anybody made it, nobody would bat an eye. But since this chef made it, that is why Ivan Papaforlov Ivanov is giving it glowing reviews.
Yes.
That's why it's infamous, and that's why, you know, he was willing to die for it, because of the ethos behind the character and that he thought he could trust that character. But yeah, going back to the alien thing, like even with things like my last one, which was just what was it called? It was called that's right, The Dirt is Alive. You know, it seems like it's related to aliens, but it's really just about a sitcom. A sitcom with subliminal messaging in it. That's like the basis of it. It's built off a very simple concept and that's stretched to its most extremes. So it's understandable that people may see it as science fiction.
People are assuming that these videos have very deeper meaning by all the editing but in reality they're just simple concepts like
there's always meaning brought out of it.
Yes.
It's just taking a simple concept and bringing it to its absolute limits
degree,
but not necessarily it's not like there's a linear path to its absolute limit. I'm just taking it in my path to its absolute limit. And
guys, take it with a grain of salt. That's not
yeah. No. All right, Rad. Now, do you want to get the short shot?
Huh?
My shorts shot?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you wanted in the beginning? Oh, no, I could stand up and do the whole thing for you.
All right, guys, that was
all right,
an interview with just famous YouTuber Joe chaseift. Thank you so much for letting me. Honestly, it's a very privilege. It's such a privilege of letting me do this, of interviewing you. And guys, if you make sure to leave a like, that would be fantastic. Anyways, Jackson, do you have
an outro or are you just going?
No. Anyways, have a good day, Jackson, and I'll see you on the flip side.
Remember your blueberry muffin.